I'm muted. I'm muted. Why did someone not tell me I'm muted? Okay. Anyway, as I said, we've got Jamie Turek coming on, and I'm not sure what this is going to fit into, whether it's the book show, whether it's Messengers of Light, because he is a messenger of light. And as I say, the first time I met Jamie Turek, he was this soppy, well, we'll talk about it. It was 2012, and I was running a group called Bucks Spiritual Friends, and that's how I met Jamie. And then he came to Helen Greenway's house, and then it was years before I met him again. He went to live in Ibiza, and I remember him inviting me to visit him a lot because he was doing really well in Ibiza. And I didn't go there. But then I met him again. He came back and he organized the cacao ceremony, and I went to that. That was the year before the lockdowns. And then I met him in Trafalgar Square. There I was standing filming David Icke, I think, or somebody we can't mention. And there was Jamie filming as well. And I looked at him and he looked at me and I was like, oh my God. Anyway, we're bringing him on in hopefully 7 minutes. He's going to be with me soon. So looking forward to this interview. Before we go on to the interview, let's put this on. This has got a hug in it. Restream, send this to me. Look. Hang on. I'm sending you guys massive hugs today. I think I need to take background off. Where are we? How long will this be for, out of interest? What, about an hour? Hourish. An hourish. An hourish. It's going to be about an hour. Okay, cool. Great. Okay, so as I said, before we start the interview, let's just put something on for you to remind you exactly why you're here, and don't forget it.
Each time you look
But only living, 'cause you're born. Hey, hang on. Oh my God, there you are. Hang on. Let me just get rid of this moving on TV in the background. There we go. Yay! Good to moving on TV. How are you?
Good, Lauren. Yeah, you?
Yes, I'm very good. I'm very good. There's a bit of an echo going on. That's a shame. Why is there an echo?
Okay. I'm not hearing an echo on my side. Sorry.
Okay. It's really good to see you again. I've got here, look, Jamie V. Turek, author of The Freelance Formula and the website The Activist Toolbox. Then I've got here Seekers Trust Retreats. Remember that one?
That's going a while, isn't it?
Ooh, going back to 2012. Freedom fight, brave, courageous, beautiful freedom fighter, cacao ceremony holder, light worker, starseed and butterfly protector.
Where's the butterfly protector from?
Come on, surely you remember the first time we met. Shall I remind you? Okay. A lot of water under the bridge. I'm not sure whether to put this. I'm going to put this on two different shows. You're going to go on the book show and you're going to go on Messengers of Light.
Cool. Bring it on.
So I'm going to dig deep. Okay, so but let me remind you, 2012, Buck's Spiritual Friends. Oh, come on, you must remember. Buck's Spiritual Friends, the group I used to run.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Do you remember? You turned up with a butterfly.
Did I really?
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, of course.
You had this little butterfly. You sat with the butterfly continuously all through the meditations and you took care of it. You don't remember?
I do, yeah. Bless
That was the first time I ever met you. There was me and Helen Greenway, and Martin, and I don't remember who else was there, but you made an impression. You made an impression. Walking in with a butterfly, that was a big impression. And from that moment on, it was like, wow, Jamie's here. Just a beautiful, beautiful aura, beautiful presence. And we kind of became friends. And then you came to the Seekers Trust when we did the angel retreats.
Hmm.
Do you
Yeah, I
remember
remember.
that? With your friend Jamie, the other Jamie? And that was an amazing retreat. That was beautiful. And then I didn't hear from you. Then you went to live in Ibiza. It was quite, and you were always asking me to come and visit, and I never got to visit you. And then I'm just going through the chronological order of the times that we met up. And then you did your cacao ceremony. Where was that again? I can't remember the
That
town you
was
did.
in Swindon.
Swindon, that was it. And it was the year before the madness, when we were still living in relative normality, whatever. And you did this amazing cacao ceremony, and that was the first time I'd seen you since the retreat, I think, which must have been about 6 or 7, maybe 7 years, 8 years,
Mm.
since the
Yeah.
retreat. And you did this brilliant cacao ceremony. And then last year, I went to Trafalgar Square to one of our marches, one of our things. I was standing there filming, and there you were, right over there filming beside me, and it was you. Oh my God.
Right under
So,
David Icke's nose, wasn't it?
pardon?
We were right under David Icke's nose.
Yes, we were. The man who's, we're probably not allowed to say his name on here. It's so crazy. So, what I'm going to do is I've got to say to you, there's very little we can say on the toolbox. You can say what you want about the book, but when it comes to the activist toolbox, we're being watched continuously. So you have to be very careful what you say. But let's go back a bit. Let's go back to Jamie that walked in with the butterfly. That innocent, very sweet, very smiley young person that walked in. Um, how did that all start? I mean, where did this all come from? How did you wake up?
Well, I mean, I've always sort of been spiritual because of my mum. Um, but waking up to what's going on in the world was what really blew my mind open. I watched a 2.5 hour long documentary that connected all of the dots, and I'll try and use my words very carefully, not to not to bring up anything. But it told you about everything that's going on, who's behind it, connected all of the dots, spoke of their motives, how they're doing it, and once you'd seen that, it's impossible not to see it in real life. Wherever you go, it's there in your face. You can't unsee it. It's like it's like the film They Live. Once you've seen it, you can't take the damn glasses off, can you?
No. Can I just go back even further with you?
Mm.
What I mean is, when did you wake up to the spirituality? I mean, it's unusual for someone, especially a young man, to walk in protecting a butterfly and to sit there and to give it so much attention and love. It's unusual. So, other than, well, so why, how old were you when you first realized that you were a star seed or a light worker, or there was something a bit different about you, Jamie?
That's kind of always been me, really. And I thank my mum for that. My mum reads all the spiritual magazines, and she's always been into that sort of stuff. So it's kind of always been a part of my life. And my mum's very sweet, and I spent a lot of my childhood not hanging around with my friends, but actually hanging out with my mum. She'd take me out into nature. We'd go on really long bike rides together, and so yeah, we'd climb trees. And I was always into nature and animals, butterflies, birds, whatever. So yeah, it's kind of always been me a little bit, really. I only cracked open properly after like the awakening I was just talking about, because once you get open to that stuff, then the spiritual stuff creeps in as well, because then you realize actually it's the real battle we have is the battle on consciousness, and when you realize that, I started digging deep into that stuff as well, and that's when I started realizing I had a really deep connection with the Pleiades. And that expanded in Ibiza when I decided to participate in a channeling course with Solara and Ra, and I learned to channel the Pleiades, and that's when things really sort of blew open. And that was probably 2015. So that's when the real journey happened, though.
2015. Okay, so we're looking about 6 years, right? Okay. I agree with you totally. When all of this started, all the lockdowns, it was like it was in my face exactly why I'm here. I
Mm.
just knew. I knew that I had to run moving on TV, and that was it. And suddenly all the pieces came together, and I realized what I really am and why I went through the life I went through without going into what's going on too much in the world. As you know, I grew up in Israel. I'm now grateful for that because I'm able to see everything. I'm able to watch everything. I'm able to put across different points of views and stuff like that. And I know why I had to grow up in an atmosphere like that. So it's this massive awakening where all of us, the 144,000 of us, we have got our jobs and we know what we're doing. So, okay. So, talk a little bit. We'll go on to, okay, so your awakening was through your mum. You were kind of like Maria from The Sound of Music, loving climbing trees and jumping around all over the place, like what a free spirit that you are. And you talk a little bit about your meditations with the Palladians, because that's very, very fascinating. So, do you want to say a little bit more about that? Because I
Yeah, that
think
was
that's
cool. That was a
safe.
cool journey, actually. And it was a bit strange because when I was a kid, I always had this real obsession with that tiny little cluster of stars in the sky. And I'd always see them really faint. Every time I saw them, I was like, oh, cute, there's that little cluster of stars again. And I never knew what my fascination was. I had no idea why. And then later on in life, as I was going through this, all my research and the awakening and what's going on in the world, I had spent a day on YouTube just listening to music, nothing but music for maybe 3 or 4 hours. So all of the recommended track videos were nothing but other music videos, absolutely nothing other than music. And then suddenly this other recommendation popped up that was really out of place, and it said a message from the Pleiades. And I'd never heard of the Pleiades before. So I just felt really, really compelled to watch this video. And then it started off talking about, oh, there's a reason why you never used to fit in with other people at school. There's a reason you have spent your life wondering why people don't see the world the way you do. And I was like, okay, go on then. And it said basically it's because your being isn't really from this planet. You're used to incarnating on the, you've come here on a mission to help raise the vibration of the planet, and you do so just by being here. You don't actually have to take any action. You do this just by being here, although you probably want to take some action. I was like, right, okay. I mean, I was a little bit skeptical, I was like, okay, this is a bit random. And then they said there are other beings from other planets also, as allies to humans on our awakening journey. And that there are many beings sat on the edges of their seats right now watching what's unfolding on planet Earth. So I said, okay, all right, fine. If you're there, then if you're watching, show me, prove it to me. And honestly, I shit you not, Lauren, I literally came up in goosebumps and I had this incredible rush through me for about 20 seconds. And I sort of sat there like, oh, there's no way I could have induced that myself. I was like, right, okay, then that's interesting. So then I started studying the Pleiades and what that was all about. And then I think it was probably a year or two later, I was at my sister's house and my brother-in-law had built an observatory in the garden, which was like a metal shed with a sliding back roof and a telescope. And I was there one day and he had no idea about my connection with the Pleiades and stuff. They're not really into this sort of stuff. But we had a really clear night. He said, oh, great, clear night tonight. We might be able to see the Pleiades. I said, which one's the Pleiades, Robert? And he said, oh, it's that tiny little cluster of stars up there. And of course I was like, you've got to be kidding me, no way. So I was like, suddenly everything makes sense now, no wonder I was obsessed with that little star cluster as a kid. And that for me was absolute confirmation that this stuff isn't just a load of bollocks, there's something really real going on here. And then, I went traveling when in 2014, I just got really sick of this country and working for other people and stuff. So I just sold all my stuff and decided to go. Ended up in the most cosmic place ever, Ibiza, very contrary to the stereotype it's known for. It's an extremely cosmic place, one of the most spiritual places on the planet, I would say. And I met this wonderful woman called Solara, and she was doing a channel, 333 euros. And if I see 333, I kind of feel quite compelled to follow it. That's my magic number. And yeah, she was doing this channeling course where she channeled the "No, I have to be here." And yeah, within the 3 days of being there, I had a new family of spiritual family, and then a new girlfriend, a place to live, and I was channeling the Pleiades, and I was suddenly at home, more at home than I've ever been in my life. So then, yeah, that was kind of my journey with the Pleiades. And I still channel them to this day, when pretty regularly, and they tell me some pretty cool stuff. They've kept me going. I don't think we have anything to worry about, put it that way, but what they're saying, it sounds
That's
like.
what I was going to ask you. Sorry, that's what I was going to ask you is, can you give us some positive stuff? I mean, I'm getting a lot of positive stuff that everything's going to be okay. We've got one massive storm to go through, and then it's all going to, we're going to be okay. But can you give us some positive stuff? Because I
Yeah,
know a lot of people out there, there's so much depression and people are scared and confused. But go on then, give us some great stuff.
yeah. One of the common themes is that a new plane of existence is emerging of some sorts. I don't know what that looks like. I haven't asked. Maybe I should ask. But there's a speak of like a new earth, a new plane of existence, and those who are working for the light, we are part of it. And this seems to tie up with things that the Bible says about the end times and stuff like this. About a new plane of existence. So yeah, that's pretty exciting, and I think we're going to be okay. I think a lot of bad things are going to happen, but if you're in the light, you're going to be okay. If you're living in love, if you believe in the universe or of a higher power or whatever label you want to give that, then we're going to be okay. But it does seem, I'm getting the impression aren't going to be, if I'm honest. One of the message that I channeled on New Year's Eve was that all things are going to happen. And I think we're seeing that unfold now with the prick, and yeah, that was brought up specifically. They said that's not going to be, that's going to be a really tough thing for us, but it's going to be okay, basically.
I totally agree with you. We are in a massive awakening, and this is all about people taking responsibility for their bodies and their minds and everything. And those who can will be okay, and those who can't, I have my own feelings about that, but I don't want to go into it too much. But this is, you can use this time to either completely go under, or you can use it in order to wake up and to do what you love. And to me, the gift that I've got here is I can get up every day and say to myself, Lauren, what do you want to do? Regardless of how many people watch or how many subscribers I've got, what do you want to do today? Oh, I want to pick up a mic and sing all day. And that's what I do.
Yeah,
I come on here and at the moment, I'm doing a massive sunshine meditation for everyone because of the fact, whatever, the weather. And in order to teach people that you don't really need the sun, you can recreate the sun yourself. You can do that. Your mind, you can do whatever you want. And so, as you said, we are here to spread love. We are here to spread light. And that's it. And it's this incredible knowledge now. You know that you're here for a reason. I struggled with that my whole life. Anyway, coming back to it's your story. You're the messenger of light on here. So this is very exciting. Now, what you've done is you set up an activist toolbox, which sounds very, very intriguing. And I looked at it a little bit. It looks like a website to help people negotiate different things that are going on, how to deal with them, how to negotiate the awakening and the ascension, but also very practical stuff, which of course we can talk about on here because of the way we're living at the moment. And hopefully by this time next year, things will be different. Please God. Or please whatever. Please God, please love. God is love to me. So talk a little bit, as much as you can, about this activist toolbox. We'll start with that. What is it? How can people access it? And how did it come to be? Where did it come from? How did you feel? Why did you feel that you needed to create an activist toolbox?
Yeah, I mean, it came from maybe back around the 2012 times. I was doing a lot of sort of protesting and stuff like that, and I was very heavily involved in the activist world, and I found a lot of people were struggling on how to put their message across and try and wake people up. It's very difficult to wake people up and get them to listen to you, and we can often sound very crazy. We can sound like we're chucking out bold statements about what's going on. And for a lot of people, those bold statements can be very difficult to grasp. They can be very difficult to believe because it challenges their perception of reality. It challenges their perception of safety. So firstly, I wanted to create a place that would help to educate activists on or inspire activists with some really interesting ways and effective ways that they can use their language wisely. They can choose their questions wisely. That will help people effectively wake up their friends and family. And also, I wanted to provide activists with some other tools on their journey on trying to wake other people. And that was even just selling stickers. It started off as a really basic idea, and over about 8 years, it expanded. And only now is it really being launched and birthed. The universe has been, and my guides have been telling me, this is something you just be patient with. It's going to come at the right time. And now it's about to get birthed. So you'll see, if you go to activiststoolbox.com, the website doesn't actually have content yet. It's there, but it still doesn't have the content. But that's for the next sort of 2-3 weeks. That's going to be a big focus. And now the universe, they weren't wrong. My guides weren't wrong. Your team will come at the right time, and suddenly I've been meeting all these people who want to get involved, that help out. So over the next few weeks is where we're going to be building it with building content. So it's actually activiststoolbox.com with an S after activist.
Okay, sorry. You can actually see what I'm putting on there. Good.
Yeah, but it's cool.
The spelling is rubbish. Sorry, activists.
So the first bit is there's going to be a few different phases. Firstly, we've got the training camp, the activist training camp online, which is, it runs through everything really. So it talks about firstly how to wake up your family, how to wake up your friends, how to ask the right questions, how to make people think for themselves. So one thing I've discovered, and after speaking to a few other people, is that people don't tend to change their mind unless they come to the conclusion themselves. And for that to happen, people need to think. So how do we get someone to think? Well, we have to ask them questions. So now it's
Sorry, Jamie, what's your favorite color?
Purple.
Okay, so I'll do purple. Keep going.
So if we can ask people the right questions that make them, perhaps pointing out some of the inconsistencies in an official narrative, to make people start going, yeah, maybe something is a bit fishy here. And asking the right questions that make people think for themselves help them to then come to their own conclusion without shoving things down their throat and stop us from looking like absolute nutcases. We just help someone else see what we see really gently. So we've got that, there's a first section is about being a successful activist. So to wake people up, we've got how to organize and orchestrate things like demonstrations, protests, petitions, etc. And then there's how to come from a place of being empowered. So I notice a lot of activists, they're quite angry. I was quite an angry little activist back in the day. And, it's a very nice release. It's great to go shouting at people. It's a nice release of anger personally. It feels good, but it's not very effective. If anything, it's very counterproductive. So I want to help inspire activists to come from a place of being empowered, not from a place of wounded little child that just needs to shout at everyone and release some steam. And when we can come from that place of being empowered, it's so much more effective, and it's so much more unifying, because we need to realize that the people who aren't awake yet, they're not separate from us. They have just been brainwashed. We've been quite lucky, really, that we're able to see what we see. It's a lot of the people can't, so we judge them, we call them sheep. I've been guilty of it too, but we have to realize, they're just victims of the programming. So if we can understand that and come from a place of being more empowered, then it's much more unifying, and people find it much easier to relate to us. Off the top of my head, I think the next section is all about walking your talk, really. So I remember going back on protests back in the day, and we would be protesting against big corporations, corporate takeover. At the end of it, some of the guys would be like, "Hey, yeah, great day, guys. Let's go to McDonald's." And I'd just be like, "Are you serious? Like, are you, come on, guys." So I think the key thing that we have to focus on is, like Gandhi says, be the change you want to see. Every pound we spend is a voting slip, right, for what we want in the world. So if we want to see change in the world, we have to walk our talk. So in that section, I want to help people walk their talk. So I'm going to have two sections that will dominate that part, which will be, one, a list of ethical companies that I want to promote. So it gives people some more ethical options that they can integrate into their daily purchases. And then there will also be what will be called the shit list. Because how many people don't know that brands like L'Oreal test on animals? And I think if they knew that, they probably wouldn't buy L'Oreal anymore. Or how many people don't know that the CEO of Nestle said that that water shouldn't be a human right? He's an absolute lunatic. They're absolutely insane. And I think if more people knew about what was going on with a lot of these corporations, these companies, they wouldn't want to put their money that way anymore. So a big part of Activist Toolbox is going to be about encouraging people to walk their talk and use these ethical companies that I list over people like anything from Johnson & Johnson or Nestle or Coca-Cola or any of these horrible corporations that are destroying our planet and destroying our health and brainwashing our children. So yeah, there's going to be a big part is about walking our talk. And then we're going to have the spiritual toolbox. That's actually going to be a separate website that's going to sit side by side with Activist Toolbox. And what I really want Activist Toolbox to do is not just empower activists, but also be a bridge between activism and spirituality, because I think ultimately they go hand in hand. And I don't want it to be wishy-washy. I don't want it to be fluffy or anything like that. I just want some really really grounded tools that people can use and integrate into their life to empower themselves,
Yeah, I agree. Right, just bringing myself back.
Yeah, man.
I agree. It's all about balance. What you said is completely true. You get the freedom fighters that can be very angry and try to put the message across in a very aggressive, angry way. Then you can get the light workers that say, no, we just need to sit there and meditate and everything's going to be fine. No, you have to find the balance between both. And that sounds like that's what you're doing. You're providing the information and the guidance in order to create a healthy activist, somebody where people are full of respect for what they do. They don't, the word I'm looking for, they don't put anybody down for what they believe in. It's hard, Jamie. It's hard. It's very hard to watch. It's a bit like watching sometimes a mother watching a child putting their finger into a plug, electricity plug, and you can't do anything. You just got to let that child, that adult, that you can't change it. They're not children, they're adults, but you can only do your job. And an amazing woman said to me, my best friend now, she's like my sister, Jamie. She said, Lauren, you're going out there to save the whole world, but you can't. You've just got to save one person at a time by being the best you can be. That's it. And so that's what you're doing. You can't go out there and save the whole world. You've got to just do your best to be as kind and as balanced as you can be, and use that as much as you can to help people to ask the question, like, how come Lauren or Jamie are so healthy? I wonder why they're so healthy. I wonder why they're so happy. I wonder why they're so balanced. Maybe I could be that way.
Mm.
And that's a good way. It's like learning by example. I mean, as I say, we all go through our ups and downs, but it's finding that balance. And it sounds like that's what you're trying to provide with what you're doing here, which is very, very important.
Yeah, I was quite fortunate when I was in Ibiza. The universe seemed to just guide me through some of the most incredible different spiritual tools out there. And I was doing all sorts of different therapies. And I didn't even end up paying for most of it. Most of it just seemed to happen to me. It was like I was being given these tools so I could then share them with other people. And I was doing things like huge amounts of family. I really recommend anyone to check that out, family constellation, because that's one of the most profound things I've ever done in my life.
Can you, sorry,
That's to hear.
can you explain that? Is that when you are able to, I think I did one of those in the therapeutic community where I recovered. It's where everybody represents a person in your family and you're able to say what you really feel. Is that it?
More or less,
Is
yeah.
that
It's an incredible thing. It really proves that we are all one consciousness. Because what happens, let's say you're in a group of 8 people, and whoever's turn it is to have their family constellation done, they would sit with the facilitator. And let's say, for example, one of the most common things I would see is like my girlfriend that I had in Ibiza, she was a family constellation facilitator. So I sat through many of these, and yeah, a common thing would be like women would be regularly manifesting abusive relationships. So basically, we inherit programming for up to 6 generations back. We carry this family karma, which doesn't belong to us, but it plagues our reality, and it's not ours. But we can clean that, and family constellation, I believe, is probably the quickest way of doing it. So let's say, for example, you're a lady who's constantly manifesting abusive men as your partner. You would probably sit with the facilitator, and she would say to you, okay, can you pick someone out of the group to represent your mother? And literally the second that person agrees to represent the mother, they embody the energy of that person. It's weird, it's really creepy, and it doesn't sound very believable, but honestly, it happens, and it's very real. And I've represented many people, and you really feel their energy. It's really strange, and that doesn't matter whether they're still alive or not. There's been times I've been asked to represent someone's father or something, and I could be like a really timid little man. I could just be like, oh no, I just want to hide in the corner. Or I could just come out and I want to own the energy of the space. Everyone must know I'm here. You really feel it. It's incredible. So this woman might say, find someone to represent the mother and father, and they would be interacting as the mother, father in front of her. And these people perhaps have never met before, and they have no idea about the woman. But she'd be looking at these two who represent the mother and father, and they'd be like, this is insane. There's literally exactly how my mother and father would act. It's just literally creepy. And it was never wrong. And what you can do is you can observe the interaction between the two, and after a while you can start seeing patterns. So you might say, okay, cool, so obviously this guy is not very nice to your mum, and you can say to the father, how do you feel towards this woman? He might say, oh, it's just my woman, she's here to cook for me, and she's here to look after the house while I go and work. He's not that bothered, he's just a little bit emotionally detached. So okay, well, let's see where this comes from. Bring 2 people in to represent the grandparents, and then watch how they interact. And it might become apparent that the grandfather was working in the military. He was a bit of a robot man, very cold, and was abusive to his wife, the grandmother. You say, okay, well, this is obviously where this comes from. He's a military man, and he doesn't really see his wife as a human. So that's when you can heal that energetically. So you could say to the granddad, okay, I need you to look into your wife's eyes and see a human there. And I want you to love that woman. I want you to apologize to her. And once he softens and he does that, then you move to the parents and you say, look, now you guys need to heal this. I need you to look into your wife's eyes and see her as a human. And once that's been healed at the place that it originates from, incredible things start happening. The whole family dynamic changes. You're released from this sort of karma, and then you can go on and start manifesting a decent man, because you no longer have that pattern that you're repeating. And not only does it work for you, but it ripples out into your whole family. And it's strange how it works. And I was very skeptical when she first told me about it. But the first session I was involved in was called Healing the Relationship with Your Father. And I had actually fallen out with my dad. He lives in the Isle of Man. and I'd fallen out with him at his wedding, and I hadn't spoken to her for about a year. So we did this session, and literally, I must have been no more than 4 days. He rang me out of the blue, and I said, "This is unbelievable." And when I told her, she said, "Well, yeah, of course he did." Crazy. So yeah, this family constellation is an incredible tool, and then there's so many spiritual tools that we can use like this. You know, even just breathing techniques, like doing a holotropic breathing breathwork session. I mean, I was having experiences from that were on par with an ayahuasca ceremony, and I cried for like 45 minutes. Unbelievable, just from breathing. And you know, if everyone realized the power of breath, that would probably be one of the most empowering things for humanity, to realize that this one simple tool that we need absolutely nothing else but other than ourselves can be extremely powerful for us. You know, and that includes things like, you know, the Wim Hof method as well, of course. And then there's working with plant medicines as well. And I think this stuff is really important for us to sort of tap into, for anyone who feels like that could be on their path. You know, this is great for clearing, great for finding out our power, reconnecting with our true essence, and just digging really deep within ourselves and healing, you know?
Yeah. There's so much, Jamie. I mean, I'm so grateful and excited you're saying all of this, because I don't know if you remember, if you know, because we weren't in contact, but I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder when my mum died, and you know, instead of giving me grief counseling. But anyway, I'm very grateful that it happened, because I went into a therapeutic community for nearly 2 years, and it was all without medicine on the NHS. No one knows, no one knows, but all on the NHS. And we did similar work. And but to me, everything, all the work. I mean, I've done 10 days silent retreats. I've done a few of those. I did one Vipassana
Mm.
in Australia. That was 1 year when there was a massive war going on, as usual, in Israel between them and someone else. And I didn't know what to do. And so I thought, well, I'll go into meditation. And when I come out, hopefully it'll either be over or whatever. I've got to learn to live with it. And so I went into 10 days Vipassana, and it was so dark, you know, that all of that meditation, I had to face so much darkness because there was no communication.
Mm.
All you did was meditate from 5 a.m. till you went to bed. And I remember going to see the facilitator and saying, I can't cope with this darkness. And she told me to do yoga. I was put onto a yoga program in order to release some of this darkness. And then I did Amravati. You know, I've done 10-day retreats in Amravati near me, and there's so much. I mean, we used to have a lot more. Obviously, it was a lot easier. You could just go to a Buddhist retreat and do a 10-day meditation. Now everything's closed, but let's not go into all of that. Now you've got to be on your own. You've got to go inside and you've got to do it all on your own. But I tell you, one of the best things that I feel that was given to the human race is the 12 steps. The 12 steps of AA, which can be adapted. And before I met Martin, well, you remember Martin, we're separated now, but before I met him, I did a massive 12 steps because my relationships were going down, 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 down. And so I had no option. I did a massive step 4. And I looked at every single relationship with a man that I'd had. And there was always exactly the same pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Always, every single time. It was always my choice. My intuition said no. But I went, you know? And so when I did that, I took about a year out and I worked on myself. Then I met Martin. It was completely different, different vibration. Everything was different. But to me, the 12 steps, you go, first of all, you admit you're powerless over everything, which we are. Then you say there is a power greater than ourselves. And I don't believe in a religious God like you. I believe in a consciousness, in love. Love to me is everything. Unconditional love. Love is God. God is love. Like the teachings of A Course in Miracles. Have you studied A Course in Miracles?
A little bit, yeah.
It's beautiful. It's Jesus just says that all there is love. There's nothing else. You know, that's all there is. Everything else is an illusion. And it's really interesting that everything that's happening to us when in the awakening is, I don't know about you, but I've been left on alone, just me and two cats. No family, nothing, no one around me whatsoever, except on the phone. Great, beautiful starseed friends on the phone that we keep each other sane. I've got no one except Martin comes here maybe once a week, brings food, and then goes back to his family, his mum and dad. I have had to be able to understand everything. And one of the biggest lessons is attachments. And A Course in Miracles, Jesus says, do not create special relationships, because we are supposed to unconditionally love ourselves and everyone. And we were brought up to believe that our families are going to love us. So no. So when you do this family constellation thing, when I was in the therapeutic community, we did one before we left. We definitely did one. Because it was all about all these techniques they brought together, Gestalt and constellations and Buddhism. They never wanted to admit how spiritual they were on the NHS, believe it or not. But it was all there. And I was one of the luckiest people in the world, because I woke up in there and realized that my childhood abuse was not my fault. I woke up in there. I got like 8 months of tough love. And one day the penny dropped, boom. And that was it. If it wasn't for the therapeutic community, I wouldn't be here now. So what I'm saying is, all of these techniques, they were brought together in some way. And this family constellation thing that you're talking about is, as you say, you are able to take back your power. And when a human takes back their power, like you are, when you're doing whatever you're doing, all the work you're doing, you're not just sitting there saying, oh God, poor me, I've been stuck here and I just want to go back to my planet, which we do on and off, you know, but we still get on with it. I get on here and I think, Lauren, I feel like shit today. I'm going to spread some love today. I'm moving on TV. And then suddenly I feel good. And you're doing the same, you know, in a roundabout way. I'm trying to say that it's all about us taking responsibility for our lives. You can't ask anybody to fix you anymore. You can't, you know, the beauty of this awakening, some people will see it as a terrible thing. I see it as the best thing that could happen to the human race. You cannot go to a doctor and say, fix me. Can't. That's what this is all about. You have got to go inside and figure out, what am I missing here? What's my body missing? Am I happy? Am I tired? Am I stressed? Am I drinking water? Am I taking vitamin C, D, whatever? You've got to figure it all out yourself. It's like all your support has been taken away from you. You're falling out. I don't know about you, but how do you get on with your family at the moment? Because all the star seeds I know are feeling really alone. Most of them have lost their families in the way that they don't believe the same as they do. I know I have. The whole family in Israel cut me off again because of my beliefs. And so how are you getting on like that? Do you feel that you're getting on okay with your family, or do you feel like, as you do, you're a different species? How's that going for you at the moment?
I'm not very connected with my blood family, other than my mother, of course, because she's one of us. But actually, I find now the tribe is really gathering. So I have what I would call my family around me all the time, and we always get together regardless of what's going on. We'll always go and see each other. We always have gatherings at each other's houses. We'll go out and have a bonfire. We don't really, irrespective of what's going on, that's what we do. And the tribes are gathering now. And that was one thing that was quite common in the channel guidance that was coming through, is they would say, time now is to gather the tribes, because it's time for us to unite. And this is actually going to be another function of Activist Toolbox as well. So maybe I can go back to that briefly. as well. So yeah, I got into the spiritual toolbox, but after that, there will be a few other things like how to protect yourself online, how to use Tor browsers and a VPN, how to browse online securely, etc. Then there's going to be how to be less reliant on the system, so how to grow your own food, how to live off grid, stuff like this, and then a few other bits. So that's phase one, the activist training camp, and we're then going to introduce a shop. And then phase three, we're going to have some news, which events and stuff, so you can find out when the next protests are on and stuff like this. And then phase three, once I've raised more capital, we're going to introduce a community functionality, which I'm hoping is going to help unite different activist groups from all around the world, so that we can all band together, offer each other skills, and meet people all across the world, and basically unify into one group of activists together, because there's so many wonderful people and organizations popping up all around the world now. People are waking up very, very, very quickly. But we're not necessarily aware of our numbers. I mean, unless you are one of the ones who have been to the massive marches, I don't know if you were there on the 24th of last month. There must have been a million of us descended on London. It was unbelievable. It was one of the best days I've ever had in my life. It was like a huge festival. But unless you're getting involved with that, this is a lonely journey.
And I just stop you there. That's exactly what I wanted to talk about, is the intense loneliness. And if you haven't got the skills that we do, if you don't have a dream or a passion, then the loneliness can destroy you. I know that because I went into a lot of depression, and thank God I'm not in it now. But the intense loneliness, and that's where we need something where people, like, for example, as I say, you get the massive marches, which are brilliant, but then you go home and that's it. Or you get 1 hour, 2 hours in a park on a Sunday. I stopped going altogether because I couldn't deal with the heartache of coming back to the emptiness for a whole week. I couldn't deal with it. So I've started going back now because I'm in a different space now. But that's what we need to take care of. Not just our loneliness, but the loneliness of those that are not on the same vibration. How do you do that? How do you do it?
That I'm not sure.
Right. Because I'm thinking of, I want moving on TV on the box. I want moving on TV in every single house where everyone can watch something silly, like a silly happy news, anything, or a tiny little sun meditation, so they know that there's love out there instead of sitting there watching, which I'm not going to mention, but you know what I mean, day in, day out, day in, and hiding behind the couch and thinking that the world's coming to an end. No, it isn't. Your world doesn't have to come to an end. You can get out there, you can stand up, you can say, I'm not having it, and take back your power. You just need to have something on that box. So my dream is to get moving on TV literally in people's houses. That's a big dream. But coming back to what you were saying is, where are you living at the moment? What part of the country are you in?
Maidenhead.
You what?
Maidenhead.
You mean you're...
I'm just on the road from you.
What? How long have you been in Maidenhead?
Only a few weeks.
Okay, I'll be in touch once you come over here.
Yeah, I've been all over.
I've done this interview face to face. Where? What part of Maidenhead?
Not far from the dual carriageway.
Oh my God! All right, see you tomorrow. Oh, I never knew that. That is incredible. Because you used to live in Reading, didn't you, originally?
Yeah.
When we first met.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, by the way, have you heard anything at all from Helen? Helen Greenway, do you ever hear? I haven't heard from her for years. Anyway, this is I'm becoming a bit. You're kidding me. The thing is, the loneliness, as I say, being on your own. I was on my own for too long, but it made me go inside. It made me discover my singing again, and like running down the road singing. and going into parks and singing Born Free for everyone, you know what I mean? Born Free.
I
And,
can
and
I can
freedom.
certainly imagine you doing something like that, Lauren. Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, so I'll talk to you about it when we come off the screen. But that is incredible. I'm so grateful. I can't wait to see you. But coming back now, okay, so let's go on. So the activist toolbox is amazing, and you do need something on there for people to know where these gatherings are happening, not just the monthly ones, but and how to connect to each other and be there for each other. Okay, so we'll leave that one and we'll move on now to your book. So this is going to be the book show. So we've got two different programs you're going on. So the
Cool.
book. So the book is so welcome to the book show. I'll divide it up and I'll edit it. Okay, so the freelance formula. Tell us a little bit about the freelance formula.
It's my freelance formula.
It's called My Freelance Formula.
Yep.
Okay, go for it.
So yeah, this was a cool journey actually. It all started off when I was running a graphic design agency for a while, and so I was offering bespoke design for conscious businesses. So that can be anything sort of spiritual or eco, vegan, vegetarian, whatever, whatever sort of conscious businesses. And over the sort of 6 years of being a freelancer, I discovered an incredible trick. I did invest in some training and some coaching, and did a lot of reading. And I started to take on some freelancers under my wing and created some little guides for them. And then I was given the opportunity to work with someone who had learnt a way of promoting something rather cleverly, but you have to have an upfront product. So that, coupled with what happened with so many people losing their jobs due to the madness that's going on in the world now, and the economy crashing, I decided to write a book to help empower people. I really wanted to help people take back control of their lives, So I wrote a book called My Freelance Formula, and I created it in a way which I feel is really, really easy. I think anyone can understand this. And I think if anyone follows this formula, literally anyone could create a successful freelance business. And the formula that's outlined in the book is a 20-step formula that you take your clients through, basically. And if you stick to this formula and you follow all the tips in the book, you can become a very successful freelancer very quickly. And not only will you be able to work with your passions, and have control of your own life and your own schedule, you can work from anywhere in the world and you can be paid handsomely for it. And it's really surprising how many people are out there who are really actually willing to pay high prices, premium prices for quality freelancers. So this formula takes people from charging low hundreds for freelance projects to several thousands for each project.
Okay, sorry. I'm a little bit not sure about this. Can you explain what freelance you're talking about? So,
absolutely anything.
For
There's an endless amount of freelance jobs out there. You can be a web designer, you can be a graphic designer like myself, you can be a teacher, you can be a translator, you can be, there's huge amounts of freelance jobs out there. The possibilities truly are endless.
Okay. So are you talking about something similar to the websites that you've got, like Fiverr, for example, or People Per Hour, where you put your details on there, you put what you're good at, and then someone can come to you and get the service that they need?
I mean, you can start this way if you want to build a portfolio, but the thing is with these sites is you don't get paid very well unless you've been on there a long time and earned a great reputation. So the formula I provide is giving people the system and the formula they need to have their own freelance business and get business themselves. So it teaches people how to prospect for new clients. So you can choose the clients that you wish to work with. There's nothing more beautiful than working a job that you're passionate about, having clients that really enjoy working with you, are happy to pay you handsomely for your work, and having clients that you really enjoy working with. So this
Right.
book basically enables people to take back control of their lives and live that reality. And for many years, that was my reality. You know, I was working from anywhere in the world. I was working from Ibiza. After I left Ibiza, I was traveling around in a motorhome for a couple of years, and you know, working along the way. And you know, most days I was just chilling on the beach or swimming in a lake or walking the mountains with my dog, because I ran a really nice, you know, freelance business. And you know, I considered myself successful, and you know, whatever success looks like to you, whether that be financial or just freedom. For me, it was freedom. Um, you know, I wasn't driving a Ferrari, or you know, I didn't go and buy a big house, but I was earning enough that I didn't have to work hardly at all. I was enjoying a life of absolute freedom,
Yeah.
and I was still living very well. You know, I was, you know, we're always going to cool places and doing some cool things and living fairly abundantly. So, you know, it's
So
not a
when,
get rich quick scheme. That's for sure. It's not a get rich quick scheme, but it's a way of taking back control of your life and taking back your power, and working with something that you enjoy and following your passions. You know, so many people have to take shitty jobs to survive. You know,
yeah.
being a trolley dolly or whatever, doing something for someone else that's soul destroying, just out of fear. But we don't have to work that way. We can enjoy our life. We can work with our passions, and I think that's what we should all be able to do.
So you see, you're very lucky. You seem to have cracked the base chakra as well as all the other chakras, because I find with myself and a lot of light workers that I know, we don't know how to earn money from what we love doing. I'm definitely one of them. I can work forever because I love it, absolutely love it. But when it comes to marketing and earning anything from it, I've never had a clue. Just don't
Mm.
know how to do it. So, say someone like me approaches you as do you do coaching, or is it just through reading the book?
No, we do coaching as well. There's a few other things that
Hello, I've lost you. Jamie seems to have paused there. He's paused. Hang on. Oh, he's back. Okay. You back? No? You frozen. He's gone. This is absolutely fascinating. I'm interviewing Jamie Turek here, and this is going to go on the book show. And we're talking about My Freelance Formula, the book that he's written. We're having terrible issues with the internet at the moment due to the storms out there. So I don't know if you can even see me here, guys. So if you can even see me here, guys. It's frozen. Just there he is. You're back. Okay, you froze there.
sorry about that. The Wi-Fi decided to cut out.
Yeah, things are. I mean, the internet is not that good at the moment. I think it's the storms as well and everything. Okay, so say someone like myself who's got this passion, this dream to develop a new positive media, a media based on love and truth and compassion, and where you're all celebrities, every single one of you, and I haven't got a clue how to earn money from it. Hi, Cara. Is that lovely, Cara? Hi, gorgeous. How are you? Cara is similar. She's a light worker. She lives in Ireland, don't you? And she doesn't know how to earn from what she wants to do. So do you offer a set of steps? Because I'm very good with steps. You say to me, Lauren, do this, do this, do this, because of the way my mind works. A very creative mind, but not able to grasp. And I am looking into this. Maybe it's the fear of success, because I like things the way they are. Could be a comfort zone for all I know. But I'm really interested in how do you get someone to earning money from what they love if they're not, if they're so creative, like myself and a lot of people. We can do a huge amount of great things, but we don't know how to earn money. And it's not because we don't want to, and it's not because we don't like money. It just doesn't seem to work. It just doesn't seem to gel. So, could you answer that question?
Yeah, I mean, this is the problem with a lot of creative people. Just going to turn my volume down. Maybe that'll help the echo. You know, a lot of creative people have this issue. We love to be very creative, but the business side of things doesn't come easily. So actually, a simple form. This is why I actually called the book My Freelance Formula, because I've laid it out in a very simple 20-step formula to help people manage a successful freelance business. And it really is something anyone can understand. And with the book comes a printable, downloadable printable, that you can stick on your wall, so it constantly reminds you of the process and the process that you take your clients through. So it starts off with, you know, qualifying your client to see if you guys are a good fit to work together, and it's packed full of mindset changes as well. And I've packed it full of tips and tricks that help you stand out from the crowd that I've picked up along the way. Getting into the right mindset is probably one of the core things. And there's also a couple of bonuses with the book as well. So I've created a 7-step video series called a 7-Day Start Guide. And the first one is the mindset changes. So I actually guide you through the whole process through videos. And this is a free bonus that came with the book. It comes with the book. So I basically guide you through the whole process of getting your mind in the right place, setting up your business, creating your portfolio, how to find new clients, and everything basically to get the foundations laid, so you can then go out and find some new clients to work with.
Okay, that sounds really interesting. So, because as I say, you seem to be very lucky that you know. How did you learn to become so grounded, do you think?
I don't know. I'm quite a grounded person, really. I mean, I'm a Virgo, and we work quite logically. So this stuff is quite natural for me, really.
I got a feeling that you were a Virgo, because you know I'm also a medium and a tarot reader. I am building a channel at the moment, slowly. When the awakening happened, when the lockdowns happened, I was studying mediumship. My father was a medium, except he never used it. He was scared, so I inherited it from him, and I dabbled over the years. But I was studying mediumship. But when the lockdown started, things just started streaming through me, and it became like boom, 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 boom. Like it was just everything. I was just channeling and channeling. So I love doing that, and I'd love to be, and I'm trying to figure out how to get enough people. Like this is the same issue with everything. How do you get your subscribers? How do you get, you know? And another thing I just want to ask you about, stormy weather here. Oh yeah, in Ireland, you've got no electricity. They've got no electricity in Ireland at the moment because of the weather. But the weather is just manifesting the way people are at the moment. Let's face it. We're manifesting it, the English weather. When you said you went to live in Ibiza, I'm not surprised. I didn't want to be
I miss it every day.
I wanted to be in the Canaries because it's beautiful. It's just balanced weather. Is that the same in Ibiza?
Oh, so it's perfect, and it's just so nice about to plan things. You know, if you say, "Hey, we're going to have a party on the beach on Wednesday," you're going to have a party on the beach on Wednesday. You know, you say here, oh, "Let's go for a picnic on Wednesday." It's like it might happen if the weather's nice, which means it probably won't, right?
We're lacking a lot when it comes to, you know, my father used to say that God was in the sun, and he always used to say that. He said the reason you can't get close to the sun, it will melt you, and therefore he believed that God, love, was in the sun. And I, to a certain extent, believe that that's love. The sun is love, because we always feel different. We, not just because our bodies are taking in more vitamin D, but because it's got an effect on us, that bright beauty of the sun. And I think because of the way England is at the moment, I'm not surprised the weather's like this. Not at all, not at all. We're sending the message. You got no electricity because they're putting in fiber network cables. Oh, okay. I thought it was because of the weather. Anyway, Kara's a star seed as well. But coming back to that big question about, I knew you were a Virgo. I just sensed there was something about you, because Virgos are very interesting signs. They can be quite black and white, but they're also very focused. They're very focused and very grand. Well, they're Earth. You know, I'm a Leo. I'm all fire. You know, all fire, creativity, and very little Earth. Very little Earth. And you know, so coming back to what you were saying, so basically you've set out some steps, because I'm a trained life coach, and I work with the T-Grow model, the topic, the goal, the reality, and then the options and setting actions. And I believe the reason I call this moving on TV and moving on theatre is because you only need to take that tiny step every day, tiny step, in order to get to your goal. But there seems to be something missing in me, and a lot of people, I feel, that they get carried away with their dream too much and the creativity, to think, oh my God, you know, I need to really get paid. You know, I'm so happy. I don't care. It's like, you know, at the moment I'm being taken care of. Luckily, I get universal credit because I'm working for the universe. So something, thank God, is giving me a salary. So I get universal credit, and I'm being taken care of at the moment. But I've got an eviction notice hanging over my head, you know, because nobody knows what's coming. In September, apparently, I'm supposed to be leaving with 2 cats, and I've got nowhere to go, yada, yada. But I would love to have my own home. I would love for us all to have everything. So we can have our own homes. I can have our own theaters, our own studios, everything, just the basics. Because whenever I have anything, I give it away. I give away if I have got extra. I give and give and give. But this is where I feel that you have an advantage, in the way that you somehow, you must have learned this from someone, though, maybe in your family. This very grounded. I know you're a Virgo, but there must have been. I mean, I grew up with a lot of poverty, but my mum and dad worked continuously, and they used to say to me, Lauren, you need a career. You need to learn how to, you know, to have a career, because singing, you. And there was me saying, no, I'm bored, you know, I'm bored. I just want to do theatre. I just want to sing. And everything used to bore me. Just literally, the only thing I really loved is when I was working with the elderly, and the job I had when the lockdown happened, I lost it straight away because I couldn't watch anymore. I was doing the activities, I was doing the entertainment, I was giving them everything that nobody else was giving them, and I couldn't face it anymore. So I got sacked, thank God. I couldn't have coped with that job. Um, but that, and I was doing workshops for people with depression. I had the community center, and then I lost it all. I lost everything. So now I go on moving on TV and I do it, but I need to learn, like a lot of people. And those who are watching are probably like Cara, they're star seeds, they're people that have talents and they have amazing gifts, but they're not as lucky as you. So again, because I want to dig a little bit here, was that the people in your family, did they teach you these tools in order, or did they just come to you? Did you just channel them in order to be a more grounded light worker or a more grounded star seed? Because there doesn't seem to be enough of us around. We're poor. Most of us.
I find myself a pretty grounded person anyway. I mean, you know, I didn't have anyone in my family helping me or coaching me. I grew up without a father, and you know, I grew up in a pretty poverty upbringing. You know, I grew up with just my mum. She couldn't even afford a car, you know, so it was pretty humble. But what I did have was my mum encouraging me all the time, and I actually started my own business when I was 8 years old. I was really into car kid. And I don't know if you remember back in the day, there's, you know, the plastic wheel trims that go on wheels, car wheels. You always used to see them on the side of the road everywhere. And I used to collect them because I loved them. And after a while, I ended up with a bloody shed full. And my mum used to quite happily put them in her shed for me. But I always had a rough idea of what ones I had. And after a while, I created a business out of it. You know, I used to go around the village on my push bike, looking in everyone's driveway. And if they had one missing and I knew I had one that matched, I'd knock on their door and I'd say, you know, I've got one that matches your car. I collect them. I don't steal them. If you want, for £5, I'll clean them all up. I'll fit you one so you've got a full matching set, and I'll put a cable tie on all of your wheels so you never lose one again. And for an 8-year-old, I used to do quite well. I used to sell them for £5 a pop, you know. So I did quite well out of that. And then I think when I was 10, I started a car washing business. We used to go around with my little bucket and my sponge and chamois leather, and used to go around knocking on doors, asking if people wanted me to wash their car. And I think a lot of people were quite scared. They were like, oh, I don't want a 10-year-old washing my car, they'll probably scratch it. But I had a little ace up my sleeve, and I had a little book of references, and I'd always say, I've got references. And that was my mum's idea, bless her. So yeah, I had a few references from some wonderful people. So, and once people read those, they were like, okay, yeah, fine, wash my car. And then when I was 12, I was extremely fortunate. We had this, it was unbelievable. We had this TVR and high performance car specialist move into my village. And it was just like, I couldn't believe my luck. And I spent every day there after school. I was there every day. And I just help out, and they would take me out on test drives and stuff. It's like an absolute dream for me. And then I ended up working there after school every day, washing these cars, cleaning up and stuff. And I was doing that from the age of 12 to 18. So I've always been working since I was like 8, you know, always doing something. But after that, then I got a full-time job in sales, and I worked in sales for years after that. For about, I say years, it was like 6 years until I was 24, and I just got sick of it. It just got more and more corporate. And then it became very apparent that I was absolutely unemployable. I was job hopping. I hated it. And I hated working in the corporate machine. I hated the false promises. You know, you get these recruitment consultants ring you up and say, oh yeah, there's loads of perks. You're going to earn loads of money. These guys are great. So you try it out and you hate it and you move on to the next job. So I was like, you know, learning how to do all this stuff was more out of necessity, because I can't work for someone. So I had to do it myself, and I had to work it out. And that's why over 6 years of being a freelancer, I learned so many cool tricks and tips and what it took to be successful, because I had to.
Necessity is the mother of invention, as they say. Yeah. You know, you remind me of my dad there. When he was an orphan, when he ran away from the orphanage, the kids on the street, they used to pick up the manure from the horses and sell it.
Wow.
They used to go around selling it and stuff like that. Yeah. And so basically, because what's happening, the new consciousness, the new awakening, is a lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of people now have to really go inside and try and think about, what do I really want to do with my life? And it's a huge leap forward. You've got to jump. They say you jump and the net appears. I must admit that every time I've taken a step, something has always held me. And I may not be earning, I'm not earning, but I'm being taken care of. And I feel that every time I've done that in my life, like one of my biggest dreams was to go to Edinburgh and to tour as Edith Piaf, and I did it. I had no money. And I'd never done Edinburgh before, and I sold out every single night, Edinburgh, because I was meant to do it. I got the money, I got sponsored, people gave me the money, and me and my crew, and I, Helen was one of them, she did the food. We had our techie, we had Johnny on the keyboard, and me as Piaf, and Martin as the stage manager. We drove down to Edinburgh for the whole week, and we all lived together. It was the best experience of my life. Me, apparently with a serious mental illness, yeah, running a theatre company. That's how ridiculous all these labels are. Yeah. But what I'm saying is everything fell into place. Everything, because it was meant to happen. It was meant to happen. And we sold out every single night. Of course, afterwards, when we came back and tried to get on the media, because I was spreading a message of you don't need medication, you need to do what you love, the media blocked me and I could never work again. That was the end of working. But what I'm saying is now we've come to a precipice where you've got to take back your power and say, what do I want to do with my life? Because I will never work again as long as this consciousness is around. I never wear a yellow star on my face, obviously, as I'm a Jew. So I never wear a yellow star on my face. And I never bow down to anything. So there's no way I can work again. Think about it. At the moment, I can never work. And I don't want to. I don't want to go back into that. But I did love working with the elderly, doing activities and music and stuff. But that at the moment, that's not going to happen. And a lot of people that are saying no, they're not able to work. So they have got to fall back on what you're offering. So say you've got someone like that, what would be your suggestion to them? What would be the first thing that you suggest to them? Because this is a necessity. It isn't for me. I don't have a family. I have two smelly cats to feed, and that's it. They sleep all day. That's me and them. That's it. We eat, and I've got a roof over my head for the next few months, thank God, and I'm very grateful. I live one day at a time. But there are people out there that are losing everything. Everything. They have lost everything or they're losing everything. And I know quite a few people that have put a massive amount of money into their businesses, and I don't see how they're ever going to be able to recoup it. I don't see, unless we get this new consciousness, Nasara and Gesara, which I'm being told is coming, please God, where everyone's going to get what they deserve and there's going to be more equality and we're going to have love. Then everyone will have the world that we deserve. But what I'm saying is, you've got people that have absolutely nothing. So how much is your book, by the way, and how do they purchase it? Is it affordable for everyone to be able to purchase it?
Yeah, it's $9.95, so it's about £6 to £7.
Well, everyone can afford. Everybody can afford that. It's
Yeah.
just 2 less coffees a week, isn't it?
Right. Yeah.
I'm not being facetious, and I'm not. Look, I don't judge anybody. I can understand why people are drinking and smoking and doing whatever. I mean, everything is crazy, and people are doing their best, But if you really want to move on, you do have to take a tiny step to help yourself. And so this book is less than £10, guys. But that's probably about £6.50, something like that. $9. Okay. And so is it a book that anyone could follow? I mean, even people with a head like mine.
Absolutely. I mean, the number one focus of this book was really to create something that anyone can read. And, I'm one of those people, I don't mess around with my words. I just say it how it is. Some people, they write really long books because they have to, they use like 3 chapters just to say one thing, whereas I'd rather just get straight to the bloody point, and just say it how it is. Why mess about? And it's, people do this, I don't know why, whether it makes them feel like they're smarter or something, but I'd rather create something basic that just gets straight to the point and we can go, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, let's just do it that way. It's easy. It's so easy to follow. Honestly, anyone can start a freelance business doing this, and they're the demand for freelance is always on the rise, because there's so many benefits to hiring a freelancer, because you don't have to employ someone, you don't have to deal with all the employment kerfuffle. There's so much stuff around employing people, and plus you have a choice of anyone around the world. And even big corporations are realizing this now. Some of the freelancers that I'm connected with, they're always getting jobs for big companies. They're getting jobs for Google, Nike, Adidas, and I'm not suggesting work with unethical companies like these, but just saying, it just goes to show that anyone can work for anyone. I wouldn't ever work for a company like that personally, but a lot of people are. Even other freelancers now are seeking other freelancers. So let's say I'm a copywriter. I still need to find a graphic designer potentially to make my logo for me when I start my business, So we're working with each other as well. So yeah, man, the book's really, really easy to read, and it's not just the book. I've got a few bonuses away as well. Like I said, I've got the 7-day start guide video.
Are they included? Sorry, Jamie. are they included with the book, these videos, or do you have to pay extra to get
No, it's
them?
all included. So yeah, I mean, it's not a physical book; it's an ebook. So you go in once you go to myfreelancefamily.com, and it is one of those long sales pages. Um, but once you've bought the book, then you get like a members area, and you can go in there and you can find the videos in there. And there's also, I've partnered with my friend Joe, um, who's up in Yorkshire, to bring this book to people, because he's really good at promoting things online. So basically, I created the book and he's helping me promote it. And he's also really kick-ass at getting people motivated. So he's created another bonus video, which is the Magic Miracle Morning. And a lot of creative people, we're not very good with structure. We're not very So what he's done, he's put together this video that runs people through a morning practice that gets you really fired up for the day, which includes a bit of meditation, a bit of affirmations, a bit of qigong, and it's just something that gets you in the right state of mind every morning to get you in the right place for success every day. So you can hit the ground with a bit of motivation and feeling good about yourself every day. So yes, no, it's not just the book. There's mindset changes, the magical miracle morning, a mind hack video, which just basically talks about how our reality works. Now, most of us sort of know about, how we create our own reality, but it's just a nice reminder in there as well. So, yeah, I've tried to create something that encompasses everything.
Sounds brilliant. You mentioned structure. I made a little film called How to Stay Sane in a Crazy World, based on some of the techniques I learned in the therapeutic community. And one of them was structure. You've got to have structure, or else the mind goes everywhere. I mean, okay, I get up and I say, you have to make sure that you eat, like halt. Don't get too hungry, too angry, too lonely, or too tired. I nicked that from
That's
the 12
cool.
steps.
That's cool.
Lonely is not very easy at the moment. We have to work around it. But the structure is so important. I'm not doing too badly at the moment, but when my head was everywhere, I had to make sure, Lauren. Okay, so today, like every Monday, is tell me why I do like Mondays. Okay, and my structure on the Monday, because a lot of people struggle with Mondays, the weekend is over, is I get my organic vegetables arrive.
Nice.
Every Monday. And so that is it's like Christmas for me. I don't let anybody open the box except me. There are all my lovely vegetables. And I go on here and I do a program called Tell Me Why I Do Like Monday. It's Holistic Mondays.
Nice.
And I show everyone the vegetables and then I make salad every single Monday. And so I've got that to look forward to. And then, so that's why I try to do it moving on TV. I mean, but also I have this spontaneity because we're such paradoxes. We're paradox. The creative people, they need structure, but they also need spontaneity. You need everything. You know what I mean? But you need to get to know yourself so well that when my head was everywhere, like for example, when Martin and I split up, it's nearly 10 months now, I was all over the place. I had no one, and I was like, what am I going to do with myself? That's when I had to literally get a piece of paper out and say, right, I'm getting up at this time, I'm doing this, I'm meditating, then I'm doing this. Oh, I've got an interview. When is it going to be? And I needed that boom, boom, boom structure, every single day. But now I'm getting used to it. I'm quite happy on my own. I get up at 4 a.m. in the morning. I stick on a video and I take my microphone and I sing and film it and make a video. I taught myself how to edit, how to everything. I teach myself everything. I kind of had one lesson of how to edit, and that's it. And now I do it all myself.
It's amazing how quickly you can learn these skills, which is why anyone can become a freelancer. You've only got to sit on YouTube for a few hours, and you've made a pretty good start in learning something. And
so the mind comes in there, Jamie, and you know what it says? When you're not getting paid, it doesn't matter if you make a mess.
Yeah, right.
That's the fear, is if somebody is giving you money and think, oh my God, I'm not really a professional. It's with singing, I would sing for anyone. And if you paid me £1 million, it wouldn't bother me because I've stood in front of audiences in Israel since the age of 13 and performed in front of prime ministers and anybody, presidents. I just opened my mouth and sang. So I don't care how much I get. I'm happy to get paid anything because I know how good I am. But you put me with anything else, like, that I'm not. Yeah, but I could do it with singing, definitely. Maybe not at the moment because I'm tired. But so anyway, coming back to what you're saying, this is so beautiful. So everyone has got gifts and skills. I mean, you could be doing like maybe gardening. Everybody can do that. You don't need. So, are you saying also that I don't believe that you need qualifications. I believe it's
No,
all
of
inside
course not.
you. Just get on with it. Just get on with it. Just do it.
I mean, I just taught myself to be a graphic designer, and yeah, it's just anyway. And the thing is with this book as well, what I really want to do is help people charge proper money as well, because there's so many people scraping around. So there's always you say creative people need a bit of spontaneity, and the nice thing is when you can charge say $3,000 for a project that might take a month or so, you only need one project in the month or maybe 2 months. If you can live fairly humbly, you can make that last 3 months if you're happy, because the wealth for you is living free and enjoying life. You only need this one project, so you can live however you want. And
People are living on
don't,
practically nothing. Sorry.
you
Yeah.
also don't need to be scared whether you're the best of the best or not, because if actually what you've taken on is a little bit more than you can chew, there are so many other freelancers out there in other countries or on Upwork or Fiverr, like you say, who will do the job for you at a much lower price, and you just take you just take the profit. There's
Yeah.
always a way. Even if you feel like you're a little bit above what you're capable of, just take the job anyway, because you'll always work it out.
Yeah. So, for example, you've written an album. Again, you've got your album, you've got your product, it's all ready to go, but you just don't know what to do with that album. Do you see where I'm coming from? It's like the creative being can sit there for months and write musicals like I've done. And I'm just talking about a general idea. Like you've written an album, it's actually ready. You've got the packaging, you've got everything in there, it's ready to go. What do you do next? You've put it on Instagram, you've put it out there on YouTube, it's gone everywhere and all these sites. And then you sit back and you think, God, I haven't got a clue what shall I do next? What do you do next?
Well, I think that one's a little bit of a slightly different situation, if I'm honest, Lauren. So what I'm kind of teaching people to do is create a business that involves getting clients. You provide a service for clients. So like,
But you're selling your album. You
writing.
want to sell your album to people. Okay, so this is different.
A little bit, yeah. I'm not sure that my formula would be able to apply to something like selling a product. It's a little bit so it's more of a selling a service, So where
Okay.
if you were writing music if you were going to be a music producer for companies, then my formula would apply to you, because then you would have to find clients who need to have music created for them.
Well, that sounds really good, because if you're able to produce your own album, then you could produce an album for someone else.
For sure.
Like if I'm making videos and the videos are good enough, then I could make videos. But anyway, I don't want to talk about myself. I like to be able to, there's a huge range of people. And one really interesting thing that you tend to get with a lot of creative people like myself and light workers is they have so many talents and skills.
Absolutely.
Loads and loads of talents. So I've had to focus myself and say, right, I'm doing Moving on TV and I'm doing my tarot channel. That's it. Those are the two things now. So I'm focusing on selling a product or giving a service, which is tarot reading. I don't know how that fits in, or life coaching or whatever. Yeah, you're getting clients, aren't you? So I could use it. I could use it for tarot reading to get clients, couldn't I?
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, coming back, it's not just, as I say, this is for everyone. We tend to be multi-talented, multi-skilled individuals. And I think the danger is is sometimes we don't know what to focus on. Sometimes you think, if I focus on this, that will go. If I focus on this, and I've got to a point now where I put everything into moving on TV. Even my theatre is now in moving on TV. And so I only focus on that mainly, and my tarot channel. That's it, two goals. Two goals. So I think I can move forward now because I've managed to do that. Because I'm also a songwriter. I'm writing a whole album because of the Ascension, and I'm putting it on moving on TV. I created a program called MOTV Jukebox for new songwriters, and I get people from all over the world sending me their music. So of course I can put my music on there too. I haven't got a clue how to sell these things, but I know that I'm giving and giving at the moment. But people like us, you have to really pick something that, like I said, something that is realistic, like that you can actually go out there. Like Cara, for example, wants to be a spiritual counselor. We've talked about it. And so that book would be perfect for her because it would help her to figure out how to get clients. Yeah?
It would help, yeah. I think most freelancers who buy this book would benefit from having clients who are running businesses. It's more providing business services. I'm sure there will certainly be stuff in there that helps with more personal clients too. But it is mostly focused on more B2B services. So like offering copywriting services, or you could be a voiceover, you could be a video editor, you could be a teacher, you could be a trainer, you could be a website developer, a graphic designer, you could be a marketing specialist, search engine optimization, social media management, stuff like this, all these sorts of services.
Okay. So this is brilliant. So tell us again the website.
It's just
So
myfreelanceformula.com.
Just myfreelanceformula.com. Yeah, because another thing that I'm just thinking of as well. Oh God, log in again. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Right. It asked me to log in again. Don't know what happened there. Is one of the things we're trying to get away from is YouTube as much as possible. And what would be really good is to have a website where, do you put your videos directly onto your website, or are they on YouTube or Vimeo or anything like that?
For My Freelance Formula?
Yes, for your freelance formula.
Yeah, we've been utilizing Vimeo.
Okay. Because with Vimeo, you can just create, you don't have to go on, it's nothing to do with YouTube. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Because YouTube is controlled now. My freelance formula. Okay, I'm just trying to get this on and spell it correctly. There you go, my freelance. Okay, so you go on my free. Okay, what about for people that don't like to read so much? Do the videos, are they enough to watch? Because I'm not very good with reading anymore. I like to listen or to watch.
There's an audiobook as well. So you can.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah. So I've done an audiobook where I read it all out, and you can buy that for like $4, $4.95, something like that. So it's like £3 or something.
Is that on my freelance formula?
Yeah. So when you get to the purchasing bit, there's like there's a checkbox where you like check whether you want the audiobook with it or not.
Okay. I'm really grateful that you're doing this, Jamie. You need to be really celebrated, because one of the things that really gets to me is I've been inundated with Tony Robbins continuously sending 5-day free courses. And when you go on the site, you need to become a member, and it's like £300 to become a member. And it's not really fair for people that are going through what they're going through. So this shows your real source, where you're really coming from. You're full of love. Of course you are. If we're going to end the interview by going back to the beginning, you must be full of love, because there's no way anybody would walk into a house with a little butterfly and protect it and give it all the love in the world. What happened to that little butterfly? I think it had a name.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think we did give it a name. I think she did pass away. I think either the next day or later that evening. So she did go eventually, but yeah, she certainly went very peacefully and very held
Well, she had a beautiful meditation. I think we
Yeah,
did some beautiful meditations that evening. And we did that process, I think, where you get a big bowl and you put all your problems in it. Do you remember?
yeah,
And then you throw down the loo and then you spread love and gratitude. Yeah. 2012, that if we'd known 10 years later, was
yeah,
it 10 years? 9 years later, what we would be, how we'd be living.
yeah. Crazy,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the interview. I thought it was incredible. And have you got anything else you'd like to say about your book, for people that might be on here at all before we close?
I guess all I'd say is it's actually, if you're thinking of going freelance, it's doable, regardless of whether you've got skills or not. Creating a freelance business is certainly possible, and I talk about in the book, even if you don't have any skills to offer service to yourself, you can actually outsource these to other people around the world, and I outline how to do that. So I'd say don't be
What do you
afraid of
mean?
proving
What do you
yourself.
mean by outsourcing? Can you just explain that? It's some.
You can sub the work out to someone else. So you can basically just be a project manager who goes and finds clients, and you can still then work with something you're really passionate about. So I'd say just really believe in yourself, because there's so many people out there who aren't that talented, and they're doing really well. And the reason they're doing well is because they believe in themselves. And a lot of us sensitive types, we struggle with that. We're quite humble, really, and it's difficult to believe in ourselves. And there's a lot of people out there who are idiots, who think so highly of themselves, and they succeed just because of that. So just believe in yourself, give it a go. The book's only $9.95, and we give it as a 30-day money back guarantee. So if you don't like it, just give us a shout, and we'll give you your money back
You give
later.
back the £4. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's quite sad. But you've got to give yourself that little bit of time to for you. Just take that little bit of time and do something to move your life on. And as I say, a lot of people are going through depression, a lot of people are going through sadness, and my heart goes out to them. But I keep pushing the same message. If you come on, go on to something and live your dream. Like most of us had a dream from more or less when we were little. We knew. I'm very lucky. I was on the stage from the age of 6. I knew what I wanted and what I loved and where I felt the most at home from 6 years of age. And then as I say, I was the lead soloist of the Children's National Choir in Israel, 13, and that was it. I was hooked, and I never. And I remember my dad took me to see an agent, and it was like, no, I can't. Something inside me said, I'm not going forward with that direction. I'm lucky I didn't, but I've taken it back now. But most people know, like that child that drew that beautiful picture, and then they showed them to their mom when she was stressed. Oh, no, no, no. And that child thinks, oh, no, God, I must be useless. Do you know what I mean? And I think a lot of this work is going inside and taking back your power, tapping. Like someone said to me the other day, I was a bit low the other day. Things are happening, things happen around me, and I feel left out. I feel sad, and I called someone, like a sponsor in the 12 steps, and I said to her, there is an outreach. And I said, I'm feeling really low today. I don't know what to do. And she said, well, ask your little girl, what does she want?
nice.
It was incredible. I got on this wig, this long black wig, like I used to be when I was young, very young in Israel. And I got on here, I'm moving on TV. I picked up a microphone and I sang West Side Story. And I sat here and I talked about the voice of peace. Did you ever hear of the voice of peace? No, you wouldn't. You see, the media won't tell you about the good things that happen in the Middle East. The Voice of Peace was a radio station on a boat, and it used to start with Ici la voix de la paix. This is the voice of peace. Kan kola shalom. Peace. No more blood. No more wars. No more bloodshed. Peace in the Middle East. And it was
Nice.
run by an amazing man called A.B. Nathan. And I came on here, I'm moving on TV, and I played the openings, and I talked to people and I told them. And suddenly I started to feel peace myself. And I started to feel like that little young girl, that teenager in Israel that had a really difficult childhood and a difficult life, but she felt different. She felt happy. And I was singing. And so that's what I say to everyone. Look, if you are depressed, the most important thing you've got to do is go inside, talk to that little boy or little girl and say, what would you like to do today? And I mean, you don't have kids, do you?
Only my dog.
Your dog. And I have two cats, so we have an advantage in the way. But then people have kids have an advantage. They can just gather the kids together and go and climb a tree, and they can play a game with the kids. And this lockdown has given people such opportunities to really be with their families and to grow that connection again with your family if you use it in a good, positive way. But tap into that little child. People give you words of wisdom, and I'm sure there's going to be loads in your book. I'm writing my life story. It's called, I'm not sure whether it's called Standing on Your Own 2 Feet or How to Stay Sane in a Crazy World. But it starts before I was born, believe it or not, because I was supposed to be a twin.
Yeah, I remember you saying, yeah.
Vanishing, were you?
No, you've mentioned that before.
Yeah, I'm what's known as a womb twin survivor. And so all my abandonment issues, eating disorders and everything came because I lost my brother in the womb. And I went back and I relived it all. And I even found out who they are in this reincarnation. And I'm very, very weird, the whole thing. But I had a massive, massive awakening around that this is not mental illness. This is vanishing twin syndrome. And so my book starts before I was born in the womb. And when you say someone spends about a whole year writing a chapter, that's me. But it's because it's different. You've got to examine. I'm doing nurture versus nature, and I'm watching. To me, it's mostly nurture. Mostly nurture. It's like 95% nurture and a tiny bit nature. I believe that love fixes everything. Love conquers all. Like love conquers all. That's the show I did with Piaf. Love, love, love is everything. But so when I write a book, I'm on chapter. My ex brother-in-law said to me, "You're on chapter 30 and you're only 10." Yeah, that's how my life was. That's how my life was. I'm telling people, I'm giving them an extensive view of a childhood from different points of view, from the point of view of the baby, the child, the adult. Well, it's going to take me a while to write, but your book is like my film, How to Stay Sane in the Crazy World. It's just got 10 techniques, and I go through each one very quickly in order to give people the opportunity to learn. So, Jamie, that was incredible. I don't know about you, but I thought this was an incredible interview. I really enjoyed it, and I'm sure people loved it. And I'm going to put it on all the time. I'm going to put it on as the book show, and I'm going to put it on as Messengers of Light. So you'll go on like the Mind, Body, Spirit show is Messengers of Light. You'll go on, that's once a week every Monday. And the book show will go on. It's going to go. I go on sometimes 24 hours a day. So hopefully we'll get people watching from all over the world because we're on YouTube. We're on 3 different sites on Facebook, and just very quickly try to tune in on Saturday. Saturday, I found out my real grandmother was born on the 22nd of May. 1892. I never knew that. I never knew it because I do a parody of a funny character called Baba Bertha because I'm an actress, and all of my characters go into characters acting. And so Baba Bertha, she's completely mad. She's 111, I think. This is what she says, she takes everything that's going on in the world and makes fun of it. So it's just mad, know. She does all sorts of crazy stuff. And so, but we're celebrating her birthday tonight from 12 a.m. because my real grandmother, who she's named after, I only found out it's a birthday tomorrow.
Amazing.
I didn't know. I didn't know. So that's going to go on. I'm now find out when your birthday is. You're a Virgo, so you're after me. And you'll get a whole day of celebration on Moving on TV. Once I know your birthday, you can't run anywhere. You're not hiding. Because that's what I'm doing, because I wanted people to be happy. That just, I don't know, it just feels fun and a great thing to be able to make, even if it's one person that comes on here and they think, oh my God, Lauren made me laugh today, or Lauren said something and it made me feel like I can face it today because Lauren's facing it, or Jamie's facing it, or look what Jamie's done with his life, guys. Look what he's done. I mean, you could do the same. I could do the same. I've just got to figure out how to do it. So I'm getting the book. I'll get the audio book because, as I say, I prefer to listen rather than read. I like listening and watching.
Yeah,
So,
I can do it. Anyone could do it. I'm really nothing special, man. Seriously, it's really cool. Anyone can do it.
you know, Martin's a fantastic hypnotherapist. He just doesn't do anything to get clients. And that's another story. You know, I think you need the passion. You've got to have a passion in you, or you've got to have necessity. Now, when you were a little boy, you had no choice. You had to go out and do these things, I presume, to help your mum, yeah, in order to bring in money. And I think that is the biggest thing with people now. They need to find a way how to earn money. And I do as well, because I want my own home. That's my big dream. All I want is my own home, never to be evicted again, just my own home. And my own theatre and my own studio. But that could all be together in this beautiful village that I would love to create one day, where people live like a kibbutz. You know what a kibbutz is?
I've heard of
Kibbutz,
it.
like the Secrets Trust, you know, where we
Oh yeah,
went.
yeah.
You've got a centre and you've got lovely little houses all around you. So you live in your own home, but you're never getting lonely again. You're never having this again. You have your own consciousness, your own laws, your own everything. No one comes anywhere near you. That's my big dream. My big dream is that there's always, you have this, like a kibbutz, as I say, where you have your own home and you can retreat back to your own home and spend time wherever. You're in the middle of a massive green. I created it in my head. I was building this thing before the lockdowns, and then the lockdowns happened. We need a piece of land, but you need to build it in a way where people have their own space. I don't particularly like. I do go to a commune. There's HS2 communes all the way around here, but it's not what I want. I don't want to be living on top of other people. I think we all deserve to have our own space. But you have a center. So if something like this ever happens again, you all come together and that's it. You hug, you hold each other, you sing, you dance, you meditate, you do cacao ceremonies, you do everything in this center. And then you know you're held. You're never going to be alone. There's no social distancing. There doesn't need to be, because you go home. Your home is like walking distance. That's what a kibbutz is. And it's a really, really nice way of living. And that is what I'd like to see. I'd like to end my days when I go on the med beds and I get younger and younger. So, you know, as you know about med beds, that hopefully one day will come, that I think the kids are using them at the moment. But please God, when we get to go on them, I don't intend to leave the planet for a long time if I can create, like people like me. I never want to feel that sense of you're being evicted. No one should ever feel that again. And that's what has been done to me and the cats. And thank God I'm being looked after. Something's looking after me, and I can't go into it. I think you know what I mean. It's a letter. And I know for sure that that letter exists, and I know exactly what's going on with that, because they're looking after me. I'm in touch with them. If it wasn't for them, I'd be on this, I would have been evicted a long time ago, because the landlord wants to sell up and he doesn't care about me. Jamie, if I was a landlord now and somebody was living in my house, I'd give them the house. There's no way I'd expect them to wake up and worry about paying me rent. But unfortunately, we haven't got that yet. We haven't got there yet. So I want the book because I would love to be earning real money so that I can have my own home. That is all I'm looking for from the universe. A car, my own home, and if please God to be able to go into the sunshine and to stay healthy like you. We just need to be balanced and to stay healthy, and then we contribute the rest. And you're doing it by creating this amazing book. I bet. How long did it take you to write this book, to put it
Um,
together?
I started it when in the first lockdown, actually. So it's just over a year now, a year and a
Yeah,
few months.
a hell of a lot of work. A hell of a lot of work, and
Yeah.
that's why you're to be celebrated, and everybody can afford it, and I love that. That's the kind of consciousness I like to promote. But then there's also another way you could do it, where you could have. I'd like to have a scale of charges, and then if people have got more money, then yeah, give it to me.
Well,
Happy to accept it. Thanks.
one of the things I say in the book, which a lot of freelancers have set prices, right? And to some extent, this is quite beneficial to do this to some services. But different clients have different budgets and they have different expectations on what to pay. So, and then this isn't a tactic to make more money specifically, but a lot of people miss a trick. They might say, they charge $2,000 for a WordPress website. But if they've got a company, they manage to get the managing director of a company who's turning over 10 million, and you say to him, yeah, we can do your website. It's going to be £7,000. He's not going to bat an eyelid. You might create exactly the same website for someone else for $2,000, but this guy has more money to spend, and it actually feels better for him that you've told him it's going to be $7,000 because he's going to respect you more. He's going to take you more seriously, and it's an affirmation again that he's done it and he's succeeded and he's got a really great business. So it feels good for some of these big CEOs of big companies to actually pay good money. So we have to price not just per job, but for our client as well. And
Yeah,
that can
it's
be
what you.
great, because a lot of these,
Yeah.
you might, for example, have let's say, a lady, she paid £150 for a logo when she first started a humble little business. And let's say 2 years later, suddenly that business is blown up and she's, turning over a few million. Now she might be like, oh, might be nice to update my branding, and take it to the next level. Do you think she's going to go looking for another £150 logo designer? Or is she going to be happier going to a graphic designer that says, yeah, I will do your branding for you. It's going to be $5,000 to redo your branding. She's going to love that. It's going to feel good for her.
That's very interesting because that leads into what you've just said. It doesn't matter. People can go out and charge whatever they feel like. They have to know that they're worth it to be able to do that. However, what you're saying here is, I think one of the issues with us, the light workers, is I knew someone who used to do everything on donation and no one even bothered to turn up. And then when he started to charge like maybe something like £10 or whatever, 20, he started to get more people. But the thing is, you're going to get the people that have the money, but you're not saying that in your book. You're saying to people, it's up to you what you charge. And I think that one of the issues with me and people that are doing this work is we are always looking for the vulnerable. We're always looking for those that have nothing, because that's what our heart goes out to. I want to give everything to everyone because my whole life I've always seen, even in my own personal life, my dad's home went to my rich family because they won in court, because they were able to, I wasn't. So, that's gone, but that's what seems to happen is the way the world has been up until now, is those who have got more. Like for me to get a theatre, something like £1,000 a night. They're mad, but they won't market me because I'm not a celebrity, and they won't do a box office split. So you can't grow. But what you're saying here, and this is what I think is a bone of contention, where I say have a scale of prices. Yeah. So if people have, that's why I do bartering. I love bartering. I think bartering to me is saying to a homeless person on the street, look, I know you don't have a penny, but you can draw me a picture. Draw me a picture, write me a song. That's it. And then I will do something for you. But those people that I approach, that I want to do that with, they can't seem to do it. And the ones that are going out there demanding more money, their self-esteem is stronger. So in your book, you said I'm not like that. I'm happy to go out there, and if someone gave me 200 quid, when I did the Trafalgar Square, the last one, where we met, because I haven't been going for a while. But when I went, I made a whole film, which got banned, of course. Someone gave me 250 quid, just like that. Boom. She just donated. And
Nice.
it's like, wow, thank you. Just like that, because I did a huge amount of work. The whole day I was filming and talking to people, and she was grateful, so she gave me that. And I said, I'm not afraid to accept money, not at all. But the thing is that the people that I cater for, the star seeds and light workers, they haven't got it.
I mean, one thing I'd like to emphasize is that, you know, I'm not saying don't do cheap work, don't do people favors, you know. I'm not saying don't do that, but obviously you have to have very strong boundaries in place with these people. But if you want to be successful, people who have low budgets, or people who don't want to pay what you deserve for your work, not only do you not get a lot of money out of these people, but they're also a pain in the ass. And one thing I noticed is the people who don't want to pay much, they expect the world, and they're not very nice clients. So it's actually a real win-win when you go for higher paying clients, because they are far more grateful. They are far more respectful of your time. And because they're proper business people, you know, they're willing to pay what you deserve, because they respect you as a business person. So it's such a win-win, because you get paid more, and you get to work with clients who are really easy and wonderful to work with. And of course, you know, in my sort of group of friends and stuff, I have a lot of therapists and stuff who want logos for their business. They don't have big budgets, and I'm still happy to do bits for them, for sure, for lower prices, because I love these guys, but I already know they're great people. And I'm happy to do it as long as I establish boundaries with them and let them know what I'm willing to do for that. You know, I don't let them take that.
You have to be on a certain consciousness. Like people would say, "Oh, if you get it for free, you're not going to appreciate it." I have had continuous life coaching for free, and I've gone out and I've done shows, and I've appreciated it, and I've loved for what I've been given. I appreciate everything I'm given all the time, whether it's free, whether it's money, because that's how I am. I'm so grateful. The universe has given me huge amounts. For a lot of the time, the universe has given me. I've never struggled with like a backing track for a song. Never. Like, for example, if I did the whole children's piece film with 1,000 kids, where when we met, more or less 2012, that's when at the end of that year, I made a huge film with 1,000 kids. I hadn't got a penny. I had no money, nothing. So I did a raffle, and the universe gave me enough money to pay the cameraman, because I didn't do it in those days. And I went out and taught the kids and made the film, and it's a huge film. I was given everything. And I've seen this time and time again. People have done recordings for me. I've got a crew. I've got nearly a whole cast for my new musical Encounters, and they've become like my brothers and sisters. Well, brothers, I don't have any women, it's all men. But they are coming from here, deep connection, love. They don't ask me for anything, because I'm the producer. And before the lockdown, I paid them. But now they just come and do this stuff for nothing, from the heart.
Well,
you can feel that bond and that rapport. And I am so grateful. I don't think I've ever struggled. If I write a song with my guitar, and I'm not really a producer when it comes to doing the music. I do it in my head. I find someone, and that, like Mark, for example, who's done backing tracks to me, 30 quid, a whole band for 30 quid. I've got a whole song. And then I put my voice on, like on my phone, send it back to him. That's it. I always get what I need. always. It's like even now, the universe is looking after me. And so if you can find people like that that are grateful, and it's give and take, give and take. But I totally agree with you. If someone has got like millions, so to them, thousands doesn't mean very much. And so I have to get past. I'm a very good life coach. I'm not, why should I be humble? I've got loads of great talents and skills. I can write musicals standing on my head, and I can get people out of their comfort zone and get them achieving the goal within one session. I've done it, especially if the goal is to believe in yourself or to do some research on what you really want to do. They achieve it every single time. But I can never get myself to get paying clients. So I'm going to get the audio, I'm going to work through it, I'm going to put this out there for you. And I think it's beautiful. And from my point of view, what I feel is I would have a scale of prices. So you pay, if it's up to you. They do that with the Daily On. The Daily On, they do courses, and you can pay from $10 upwards. And as I say, if someone gives you 250 quid just like that for doing the interviews, it means that they're able to do it.
I'd be super interesting to see how that works for you. Actually, that'd be really fascinating.
I'd love to do that. I want to bring on board I make adverts, little adverts, and I want to in order to bring on businesses to advertise, but they've got to be, they're just certain kinds of businesses. Like you, I mean, if one of those awful companies, like you mentioned in the beginning, offered me billions, I'd tell them to stick it up where the sun don't shine. I can't. I wouldn't. I'm not the least bit interested. I haven't even monetized. Moving on TV is not monetized. It can't be. But what I'm thinking of doing is, if someone comes on here and they have a product, like for example, makeup, organic makeup, that's all I'll ever wear. I never wear anything else. I never use anything else. I use very little because you don't need it too much on Restream. It's amazing. But when I do a tiny bit of makeup, they have to be totally organic, no chemicals, no SLS, no parabens, none of that shit. Sorry, shite, as Boba Bertha says, none of that. They can, if someone turns up and I am looking for ethical businesses to promote on Tell Me Why I Do Like Mondays. They can come on, they can talk about their business, and we can decide how we work together. They can get monetized on YouTube, but only if the adverts are coming from ethical businesses. Because Moving on TV it's Ascension TV. And I'd rather, I mean, hand on heart, people have said to me, you're mad. Well, you're telling me that if you got a deal for a sponsor that is offering you this, I said, oh, there's no way. Moving on TV is Ascension TV. I would rather have 1,000 subscribers or 2,000 subscribers that are on that vibration and earn enough just to keep me. But I was talking to someone about this as well, another starseed, how we would never, ever, we're not able to go down
we
to
have
the
to
level.
walk our talk. I mean, my number one core value is integrity, and that should never be compromised.
Exactly. So there you go. So I can't wait to see you soon, hopefully. And it's been incredible. So just to finish, this has been, this is the book show. And before that, we did Messengers of Light, because Jamie was just telling us a little bit about his background and where he came from. And so you've got this amazing book, My Freelance Formula, that Jamie has created for you. You don't need to go looking for the really expensive courses that are out there that are trying to get you. It's like my dad called it, a sprat to catch a mackerel. You can find everything on Moving on TV because we love you. And you pass on my sunshine meditation. I'll send it to you, because it's really all it is I've done a meditation where you bring the sun into your body and recreate your own vitamin D. And I know you can do it. So anyway, but the book is there for you guys. So if anybody wants to come on to Moving on TV, whether it's a book or your story or your music or whatever, This is the book show. So if you have a book you want to talk about and you want to explain to people, and you'd like to get your message out there, please contact me at movingontv1@gmail.com. And it's not coming up at the moment. I'm not sure why. And hang on, because I think I've got, there it is. There you go. Moving on TV1@gmail.com. And we'll put you on here because this is the place to put on you guys. Because, you know, I'm also, just to, very quickly, I'm in a book. I'm chapter 8 in a book called Simply Amazing. And that's my story after I was in a wheelchair after my father died. And that's when Moving on TV became real. That's when it was created, more or less, and it came out. And I did an interview with Casey Armstrong about my recovery in the therapeutic community. And I took it to my local bookstore, Jamie, in Marlow. And they looked at me and they said, sorry, we can't sell it because you're not famous. Okay. And that's why I thought Moving on TV, because every single person is already a celebrity. You're already famous. You're already a celebrity. You're already amazing, simply amazing. You don't need to go anywhere. Just come on here and let's grow together.
We're all superstars here, eh?
We'll all grow together. Love you lots. Take care, sweetheart. And I'll
Much
see you
love.
soon. I must stay. Thank you so much for this interview. Thank you. And thank you for being here in my life from the time I met you.
Thanks for
You
having me, Laura.
bring so much beauty and your beautiful aura and your butterfly into my home.
Thanks,
Lots of
Laura.
love. And I will see you soon, no doubt.
For sure.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Much love. Cheers, everyone.
Bye-bye. Wow. So there you go. That's what we do on Moving on TV. So I've sent Jamie back to the waiting room. And you know how to purchase his book. And I hope you do. I know I will be purchasing his book. Take care. Lots of love, guys. It's now 6 o'clock. And as we are on the book show, how about I put a book on for you? I think he's still in the wait. You're still in the waiting room.
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm going to put a book on. This is a woman called Alison DeMarco, and she wrote a book about, oh God, I can't remember the name, but it's very spiritual. It's to do with meeting up with oh God, some very, very high Buddhist messenger, something about a messenger and the synchronicity of the whole way her life and the book progressed. Okay, so I'm going to put that on now. Take care, guys. And this is another book from the book show while I edit what we just did with me and Jamie. Take care. Lots of love. Bye bye. Welcome to Moving on TV. My name is Lauren Hope Glory. I'm the proud CEO of Moving on TV, the TV station that gives you the hope and then the glory. Now, this is our mission statement. Our mission statement is that you have always got a platform for your talents, your dreams, your work, and it doesn't involve money. It involves connecting and bartering, because if you can't afford it, you barter. And you go out there and you promote Moving on TV. You come on here and do your own shows. Moving on TV's mission statement is that you will never, ever sit on your own in your house and think, oh my God, I have this amazing singing voice and no one will listen to me. I've got to go and stand in a queue. That's not going to happen anymore. That's the past. But I'm going to have to stand in a queue for hours and hours and nobody will care about me. And I'm just a piece of meat and I'm just a voice. I'm nothing else. To us, you are unique. You are unique mind, body, and spirit. And we will take you and we will hold you and love you. And that's what Moving On TV is. Because I can't be anything else. That's me. That's why I'm here. And because I will never, ever let you suffer the same way as I did to get to where I'm going. Okay, so that's my mission statement. The mission statement of Moving On TV is we are humanitarian, we are love, we are compassion, we are consciousness. We are here for every single unique human being, whether you clean the streets or toilets, or whether you're all the same. We're all equal. We are all equal. It doesn't matter who you are. If you have a dream, if you have a mission, if you have something that you want to give, come to Moving On TV. This is the news. This is the new news. And when we can, we will give you the truth bit by bit, little by little. But we will wake you up so you can find it out for yourself. Okay, so watch our programs and you can see what Moving On TV is. We are a TV station, not a channel. We are a TV station, just like BBC and Sky and ITV. A real TV station for everyone. Come on board Moving On TV, the TV station that gives you hope first. Tikva in Hebrew, hope, means it opens your heart and it makes you feel that you're here for a reason. It gives you a reason to get up in the morning. Tikva, ahava, light language. I love you. If you don't get this message, then you're not supposed to be on Moving On TV. We come from Christ consciousness and we come from somewhere else, Aquarius. And so this is your TV station. Join us. Come on board Moving On TV. You can contact us at movingontv1@gmail.com. Ring us or text 07437 532 798. I protect Moving On TV with the violet flame and the angels and all the light and all the beauty of Jesus and Buddha and Muhammad and all the leaders that came, Gandhi, that came to show us the way, to pave the way. Nothing enters Moving On TV unless it is based in that consciousness. I love you and thank you. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2021.